it's about agents and it's a big number and it takes a lot to work on. They've been working on this thing for months now. What the fuck is taking so long on something that everyone said, well, both sides want it done, then how come it's not? Here is, and I want to thank Dave Lombardi for the video from Palm Beach. I want to share this. Here is Kyle Shanahan talking about, is he worried Brock might go all the way to holdout status if they don't get a deal done?
You've had some prolonged negotiations and holdouts the last couple of years. Are you prepared for a potential holdout at the quarterback position?
I hope not. And, I know Brock doesn't want to do that. We don't want to do that. I mean, no one wants to do that. But these are negotiations that go on between agents and our organization. And it's over a lot of money and stuff. Those aren't just things that you just knock out right away. But I believe that we will. I hope that we do. And hopefully it won't come in any football stuff.
Okay. So, I think a lot of what he said is the right note, and there's truth there. Hey, you can't, it's about agents and it's a big number and it takes a lot to work on. Lund, what the f are they doing? What?
I like to cut to the chase.
Yeah. What is the priority above this? What contract is getting in the way? If you got 10 people working on a contract, where are the 3 other people working on the 3 other contracts if you only have 7 on the Purdy contract? Get all 10 on the Purdy contract. Get Joan and payroll on the Purdy contract. Everybody go into a room and, by the way, figure it out, and then no one's allowed to leave until we have made our first formal official offer to Brock Purdy. And what is driving me a little nuts on this is he's like, well, these things take a long time. Haven't they been working on this since a long time? The Super Bowl ended a very long time. That ended, it is April. It's April. It's not like they started working on the Purdy contract when they landed in Florida for the NFL owners meeting. They've been working on this thing for months now. Also, the framework has pretty much been done by the last 3 or 4 contract extensions in the NFL. The business is going to mirror other NFL business that's already been completed. What the fuck is taking so long on something that everyone said, well, both sides want it done, then how come it's not?
As far as the parameters, I could not agree with you more, because Josh Allen signed a friendly. Patrick Mahomes has signed a friendly, but where he lies, and it's very, very simple to see, is that you're not getting what Joe Burrow has gotten. Now, I know Burrow got 55. He'll top that 55 number, but I'm talking about guaranteed money. Everyone gets so involved in the AAV. The AAV is for ego only. Brandon Aiyuk doesn't make $30 million. He makes 27 over 3 years. Sam Darnold doesn't make 3 and 110 with Seattle. He makes 1 and 35. So AAV is a completely fictitious number. It's the guarantee. So I think 5 years is the standard number. He's going to get that. The Niners want to keep it below 300 because that's below 60. And again, it's AAV, so a bunch of funny money's in there. So it's got to be in that range, and it's going to be. But the only thing that matters here is the guarantee. Well, Trevor Lawrence, as you just pointed out, got a guarantee of $142 million. He's better than Trevor Lawrence, no matter where Lawrence was drafted. Better team success, better statistics, all these kind of things.
If we put guaranteed 150 on the table,
that's it. So that's the number.
What are you talking about?
That's the number that he's going to get. I think he's going to get a $150 million guarantee. I think it's going to be like 5 and 295, so the Niners can save face to say we didn't give him 60. That money's fictitious anyway. It's about the guarantee. And to me, like you said, it's already done. You're not Burrow, you're not Allen, you're not Mahomes. You don't have to be the greatest. You have to be the latest. So he's going to get more than what people think he's going to get, because here's the thing. The cap just went up 9%. From 2016 to 2024, the average quarterback for the top guy went from Andrew Luck's 24.6 in 2016 to Dak's 60 this year. That's a 144% increase. So there's going to be an increase on the 55 that Lawrence, Love, and Burrow have. So that's the number. You hit it right on the head. Now it's just about dotting I's, crossing T's. The only positive I would take out of this thing, Damon, is that Kyle is straight to the point. Jed's kind of full of shit, but that's what an owner does. But John Lynch said yesterday that he felt positive and he thought it would get done before camp. Lynch is not the kind of guy to say those things if he doesn't think they're getting close.
Well, to say that he thinks they should get it done before Can't. I mean, that's the equivalent of saying we should probably get a checker flag to the racetrack before they start the Indianapolis 500. Like, yeah, you're going to need that. What's the debate?
No, I agree with you. But don't you think, I mean, you know John Lynch, and we both have been reporters. My instinct tells me that that's a good sign, because I think that if they weren't going in that direction, and the example I'll use is, I know for a fact they were looking to move Aiyuk, and we can talk about that later. That's not where I'm trying to go.
Oh no,
what I'm saying is when he was asked at the combine about Aiyuk, he totally changed the topic to, we've got a lot of money here and we've got to get under a number. He didn't address it because he didn't want to bullshit it and address it. When he was asked about Purdy, he didn't have to say essentially we're getting close here, but he did. And so to me, that's a positive sign on they're getting close to a deal. Now, is that going to be done now in a month? And I think we all know this. This isn't Trent Williams. This isn't Brandon Aiyuk. You got to get in, man. You got to work with receivers. You got to be a leader. You got to get the taste out of your mouth from last year. Your leader has to be there in OTAs. I know they don't play till September, but he's got to get in there sooner rather than later.
I agree. I absolutely agree. It's about, did we not have Mike Silver label the entire operation? It's a bad vibe summer. You can't have the vibes off. They just can't be off this year. And this would be the number one way to throw them off. When you talk about Brandon Aiyuk, and you are right, so John and Kyle, or not John can't. John Lynch is a Boy Scout. Like he is not a good liar. I would love to play poker with him. He is a poker face where Kyle Shanahan can bluff the shit out of you. Jed York probably takes a lot of pots just bullying the pot. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are poker players. John Lynch is a Boy Scout. And I do think you're right. What John Lynch tried to do earlier this year was pull out of thin air a market for Brandon Aiyuk that never really existed. And you can just hear it already in his language that, man, that rehab's going well. Doctor says the ACL's repair. In other words, we needed to move him by Tuesday. No takers. No one was interested. We called everybody. Nobody called us back. And why would they? He's an overpaid, distressed asset that is unavailable for the majority of the upcoming year. It's hard to fit that into anybody's plan.
The thing that blew me away is, first of all, I didn't think he was going to get moved before we knew about the $22.8 million. And then when that happened, I'm thinking to myself, and all these bullshit things that came out, like, for example, I know Greg Bedard, and he's a good reporter and he's a good NFL guy, but he put out a piece that was a notes column that says, I have a feeling in my bones the Patriots aren't done looking at receiver. People took that, ran with it, and somehow made it that Aiyuk was going to the Patriots. Somebody who's not even close to a good source with the Browns said that the Browns were going to get him, draft Shedeur Sanders, and put him next to Jerry Jeudy. All right, let me get this straight. The draft is coming up. You've got tons of picks. You're going to take a guy because you have a rookie quarterback, pay him $22.8 million, pay him a $25 million salary, and then wait till he's ready for midseason for your rookie quarterback? It's draft season. All you got to do is draft one of those guys in the third round. All of a sudden, teams decided, they looked back at 2024 and they said, hey, you know what? Receivers are a dime a dozen. Why the hell are they getting leverage on us? And everybody got rid of the receivers. Seattle got rid of DK, and Rams got rid of Cooper Kupp, and all Devontae Adams is out there. Like, all of a sudden they went, these guys aren't quarterbacks. What were we doing? And now everybody wants away from those contracts. But like you said, look, if they wanted to trade Aiyuk and he was healthy, they could have traded him. But once the guy's not playing until mid-season, and I'm going to trade for that guy and pay him upwards of $50 million before he even sees the field, nobody's going to do that.
Do you think running backs were quietly happy to watch the wide receiver market crash the way that the running back crashed? And then, hey, Saquon woke it back up, right? He showed everybody running back doesn't matter. But it is nuts that when the Niners made, one of their biggest investment choices, they did it in a player who, for whatever reason, became a diva. I mean, like, Brandon Aiyuk didn't even know what his voice was, lunch pail to work type of guy. And then he had his very awkward offseason that led to, instant buyer's remorse on the contract, I think on the level of the 49ers. Then you get the shorts incident happening at practice. Then you get the actual injury. And it's been a mess ever since. It really has. And like you said, John, all they got to do is shoot 100% from the draft free throw line, and everything should be fine.
Yeah, that'll be great. Dude, just to your point on Aiyuk, though, man, we had him on from training camp every single year for years, and it was hard to get anything out of the guy. And now, like you said, he's making these stupid videos and doing all this weird stuff. And I don't know why it happens with receivers. I don't know if it was like hanging out with Debo, who is a complete jackass. I have no idea. But it was like all of a sudden this guy went from like this cool guy who was kind of in the doghouse for a while, works his way up, a guy you want to pay, a guy that the Niners developed, and then he just turns into this guy. And can we just be 100% honest? He's good. He's not great. I mean, I don't even know that I put him in the top 10, but especially coming off this injury, I don't know. But it was like all of a sudden he becomes this guy that you can't live without.
Look at it this
it's
way.
like
To argue that Brandon Aiyuk was a top 10 receiver, you had to break out spreadsheets and averages, and like I can maybe come up with a formula that will have you agree with me reluctantly at the end of this argument that he's a top 10 receiver. But man, I'm going to have to come with an awful lot of evidence, a really good court case in order to prove this. It was hardly self-evident. And, it's weird, and I'm sure you've seen this an awful lot in your career. Dealing with failure hurts a lot of guys. Dealing with success can be just as crippling.
Great point.
Thanks for watching. Tune into the Damon Bruce Show live on YouTube every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.